Hello lovelies, I wanted to hop on because we've just had a breakthrough moment over in my community on Facebook. What was asked over there is, why do I feel like I have this sense of urgency around food to eat so much of it right there and then, when I see it, when I'm exposed to it? And even, why do I get so worried about the idea of someone else eating this food? And some clients have also expressed to me, who live with other people, that they get very emotionally attached to certain foods in their house, and they get very upset if these foods are eaten by someone else. Where does this sense of urgency come from of, I've got to eat all of this food right now and indulge right now, and then tomorrow that's it, okay, then I'm going to be back on the rails and no more? What sort of mindset does that sound like to you? To me, it sounds like it might be a scarcity mindset. A scarcity mindset around food, I personally think makes a lot of sense. Firstly, because of where we evolved, out in the world, perhaps food scarcity was a real threat. Some of us may also grow up in houses where food, or perhaps certain types of food, also felt very scarce. Some of us may develop a scarcity mindset around food because of active restriction and scarcity we place on ourselves through dieting and overly restricting. This idea of, I'm going to indulge today, I'm going to allow myself to have all the foods that I want today, I'm almost going to go quite overboard with that, and then tomorrow, after that relief, I'm not going to have any more of these foods and I'm back on the diet tomorrow. The question that I pose to you, that I pose to clients, is, are we going back on a diet tomorrow and taking these foods off limits tomorrow because we're indulging today? Or are we overindulging today, for lack of a better term, because we have said to ourselves so many times, from tomorrow, these foods are no more? In my opinion, this is the way I like to think about it, it's just my opinion, that's saying tomorrow there will be no more of those foods. Complete scarcity mindset, right? Triggers almost a primal urge maybe in us to enjoy and indulge on all of these foods today as much as we possibly can, more than we perhaps would even want to. The way I like to think about this is, in today's world, food is not scarce. And I'm assuming that you're an adult with your own money and you can make your own decisions and you can buy whatever food you want at any time. If we're driven to want to eat a lot of food, or perhaps we're driven to eat when we weren't really thinking about food because it seems like some food is going to go, it's going to be eaten by others, or it's not going to be available later on, I'll invite you to consider if that is actually true. Could you not, in fact, if you wanted to, go to the shops and buy any food that you want at any time? One example that this always makes me think of is, someone brought in some cakes and some chocolates to celebrate a birthday into the office. And someone that I was working with wasn't thinking about food, they weren't hungry, they didn't have any cravings, and they saw slowly people in the office going up and getting some of this cake and these chocolates, and it instilled this sense of urgency in them to go and do the same, when really they didn't actually want this food at all, but it was going to go. I've had this happen on a couple of occasions, and I posed two separate things to these clients. The first one is, could you go and take a slice of this cake or take some of these chocolates and say, if I don't really want it now, but I will take it home, and if I want it later, then I can have it and it's available. That worked really well for someone. What helped the other person is asking herself, if I don't really want this food now and I'm only wanting it because it might go, if I still want it later or tomorrow or next week, can I go to the shops and buy it for myself, or perhaps even buy something nicer for myself? If this happens for you, next time I'll invite you to explore, am I feeling this sense of urgency because food somehow seems scarce to me? And if it seems scarce to me, what's driving that sense of scarcity? Is it a limiting belief which actually isn't true? Is it something that I'm doing to bring about a sense of scarcity? Or is it simply, in fact, not scarce? If you'd like to balance your relationship with these foods, but you're not really sure about how to go about doing that, or you'd like some support and encouragement to do that, this is something that I'll be covering with you on group coaching. If being in a group of supportive and encouraging women who are on the same journey as you is something that you believe would be helpful for you and you would like to join, then for this initial group only, I'm also offering you each a breakthrough session with me privately before the coaching begins. And do be warned, this does take a few hours. The goal of this breakthrough session is to get into those limiting beliefs that you have about yourself, that you have about food, that have so far been holding you back, and knock them out essentially so that you're freed up to get the absolute most out of this coaching, this 10-week curriculum as you possibly can, which is of course something that you and I both want. Thank you so much for watching, lovelies. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.